So they say abs are made in the kitchen. Well, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong today. I'm gonna show y'all the only 3 ab exercises you need to build some 3D abs. Oh, man. So I'm here in LA Fitness Lakeview. I'm repping some Able gear, of course. Use code PATH for extra 10% off. Let's hit this workout. Let's get it. So y'all have probably heard the idea of, okay, abs are made in the kitchen, and really where that idea comes from is the fact that you need to be at a low body fat percentage in order to actually see your abs in the first place. So instead of abs are made in the kitchen, it's more like abs are revealed in the kitchen through you dieting and being at a lower body fat percentage. Ideal range would be sub 15%, which for some can be maintainable and actually like pretty natural for them. But if you have a higher body fat set point, you might struggle to maintain a lower body fat under 15%. So it really comes to like what you value. Do you rather see your abs, or do you rather like, you know, have your sanity? But I will say overall, if you live a more active lifestyle, keep your activity levels high, meaning do cardio, play sports, just get around, move around in general, can slowly lower your body fat set point just a little bit. So, but I just want to talk about that because I know everyone thinks, okay, abs are made in the kitchen. Do I even need to train abs in the first place to see them? Well, you don't necessarily need to train your abs. I will say that training your abs, like any other muscle, will help them actually grow bigger so they're actually more visible in the first place. So maybe you can get away with being at a high body fat percentage while still actually seeing your abs in the first place. And I think for me, I'm a pretty good example of this. See, my abs, I have the type of ab genetics that tend to protrude outwards. Theoretically, if I were to get to a higher body fat percentage, I can probably get away with still seeing my abs compared to someone who has like more flat ab genetics, which I'll put some examples on screen right now, but that's kind of the gist of it. All right, with that in mind, let's get to the first exercise. So there's kind of 3 different ways to work the abs. First off is with an upper ab bias movement where you're bringing your sternum down to your pelvis. So it's more upper body focused where you're trying to bring your upper body downwards. The second type of ab exercise is more lower ab focus. So this is gonna be more bringing your pelvis up to your sternum, right? Think of like, you know, a leg raise, that's something. I'm gonna be showing you another movement later. And the third exercise would be more of an isometric ab exercise. Think about planks, hollow poses where like you're just kind of holding your abs in place, but it's not actually moving, right? It's not contributing to movement. For the purpose of hypertrophy, so building muscle, you wanna go from a place where your abs are stretched and then contracting. So isometric exercises may be good for core strength, of course, if you're an athlete, but from a hypertrophy standpoint, maybe not the most important. All right, so I had to take my shirt off for the demonstration. First exercise we're gonna do is a weighted ab crunch. Y'all might be familiar with this exercise, but it's so commonly done wrong. Now the function of the abs with respect to this movement is spinal flexion, right? So essentially bring your sternum closer to your pelvis and kind of bending over like a roly-poly. Meaning when you're doing the weighted ab crunch, you wanna come from a position where your spine is more hyperextended, and then you flex, and now your spine is more in flexion. This will allow you to get the best range of motion on your actual abs. So it should look something like this. However, this exercise is so commonly done wrong because a lot of people tend to move their hips in the movement just because it can be kind of awkward for them to bend their spine forward. So I see a lot of people go like this. Notice how here, I'm not using my abs at all. More, I'm just moving my hips. In this position, my abs is mainly playing more of like a stabilizing role. Like I feel my abs tense a little bit, which is super deceiving. But as long as you remember that you want to come from a hyperextended spine to a flexed spine, you'll know if you're doing it right or not. So let me demonstrate it incorrectly, right? So if you're coming from this position, what you have to do first is keep your hips in place, okay? I like to keep my hips actually extended. So I literally squeeze cheeks, bro. Like you want to squeeze your peaches so you're kind of stabilized and your hips aren't going to be moving. And from here, think about flexing your spine like a roly-poly. Notice how I'm really not moving my hips all that much. And a lot of people think they need to like touch the ground. No, you don't have to do that. Literally just, you know, just focus on literally bending your spine. So for me, the range of motion ends about right here. There's no reason for me to be going lower. Maybe if I start from a lower position, then sure, I can go a little bit lower. But ultimately, as long as you're coming from, again, hyperextended, you'll flex, you should be doing it right. I wanna make this idea very clear. I know I repeated myself like 3 times, but everyone does this exercise wrong. So rewatch what I just explained a couple times, kind of try it out in the comfort of your own home. so you don't look like a fool. All right, moving on to the second ab exercise. It's gonna be a lower ab focus exercise, and pretty much the rest of this video is gonna be body weight, so you don't really need much equipment. This second exercise is gonna be a captain's chair leg raise. Now the reason why I like this ab exercise so much is the stability. An alternative to this exercise is a hanging leg raise, where this is gonna be a lot more hard to stabilize yourself, right? Because most people can just kind of like swing back and forth. So instead, if you use the captain's chair, you're kind of stabilized in place, so all you really have to do is bring your legs up. The same mistakes still apply. A lot of people tend to just turn this to a hip flexor exercise and just kind of bring the legs up. The key again is getting that spinal flexion, right? Coming from a hyperextended spine to a bent spine. So what you have to do is really focus on showing your butt to the world. Honestly, you can probably get away with just doing one of these exercises each time you actually train abs. Really, maximum I would say is just do 2 of these exercises. Take like 2-3 sets to failure. I know a big common misconception is that you need to do like an ab circuit in order to actually grow your abs, but it's like any other muscle, right? 1 to 2 ab exercises where you're taking the sets pretty hard to failure. It's really all you really need from a volume perspective. Abs aren't gonna be benefiting from like specifically low weight, high rep types of training. It's pretty much like any other muscle, right? If you keep the volume a little bit lower, focus on intensity, you're able to kind of push your abs a little bit harder. An alternative, if you don't have a captain's chair and you only have a pull-up, is the hanging leg raise. But this is gonna be a lot more advanced than the captain's chair, I find, which could be a good or bad thing. I know overall this stuff can be a little bit confusing, so if you're thinking in your head right now, like, I don't really know where to start, then I highly recommend you apply to my exclusive one-on-one fitness coaching program, where once you join, we'll essentially hop on a call, we'll talk about your fitness goals, and essentially create a game plan to actually tackle your fitness goals, right? So essentially, you pretty much know exactly what you need to do to actually get to your fitness goals, which is gonna be huge for you. So if that sounds interesting to you, apply in the link in the description, but remember, spots are limited. I'm running a Black Friday sale, so definitely apply soon. And yeah, let's get it. But yeah, that's the second ab exercise. Moving on to the third one. All right, so for the third ab exercise, we did an upper bias ab exercise where we're bringing our sternum to pelvis. We did a lower ab exercise where we're bringing our pelvis to our sternum, but what happens if you do both at the same time? Well, that's where this third exercise comes in, and that is called the V-up. Some people also call it the double crunch. There's different ways to do it. I personally like the V-up variation, where you essentially take a hollow pose where feet is off the ground, pretty much only butt and back is in contact with the ground. With your hands, I like to keep my hands above my head, and you crunch both ways. This is of course great because you don't need any equipment, right? It's completely body weight. But one issue I want to point out that you might run into, if you're tired, you might end up just doing a leg raise and then a toe touch afterwards, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but ideally you want to try to be crunching from both sides. You hear that? However, if that becomes an issue, an alternative that you can do is known as the double crunch, where you have to kind of find a balance in this position over here, and essentially you're crunching from both directions. Now, if you did like 2 exercises before this, then it might be a lot, you might be pretty fatigued, so what you can do is keep your arm on the ground and come this way, but if you did 2 exercises before this one, it might be pretty difficult. This is quite a demanding exercise, but the V-up / double crunch, great overall ab exercise that you can easily just apply progressive overload through doing more reps, because 1 rep is so hard in the first place already. thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully y'all have a good understanding of how to grow some three-dimensional abs. Of course, when your diet's in place. Abs are indeed made in the gym, but they're revealed in the kitchen. So remember to train your abs. They will grow bigger. But yeah, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos to evolve your physique. I'll see y'all in the next one.